Hello and a very good evening to all of you. Thank you again. Thank you once again for joining in for this second episode of the Programmatic Advertising online short course. Now, yesterday we had a real good 2 hours, 2.5 hours session on the topic of programmatic advertising, and our panel of experts gave you a basic introduction about programmatic advertising to begin with, and then we went into a little bit of product demo and in depth. And today we are going to go for even a deeper dive with programmatic advertising with Eskimi. Now, this is actually what part of the series of webinars Apidum had been conducting. You know, the Asia Pacific Institute of Digital Marketing, we've been conducting these free webinars since August 2019, long before the COVID-19 crisis. So during the COVID-19 crisis, we extended our number of live webinars, free webinars. What we did was actually, instead of doing just one webinar a month, we started doing a few webinars a month, as I mentioned yesterday. So we did a full webinar on influencer marketing about a month back, and then we did a webinar on bots, using chatbots for customer experience, and we talked about like accelerating digital transformation in a crisis situation like this. We had another webinar or a online short course on Internet of Things about a couple of weeks ago. So this is our next short course on programmatic advertising, and we had our first episode yesterday, and today is the second and final episode, and we are going to have this for about next 2 hours. So let me quickly introduce the panel of speakers today. Yes, you already know Shivile and Melinda. You met them yesterday, and today we have another guest, another panelist in our resource panel, Siddhartho Sankaroy. Siddhartho is the Senior Ad Operations Manager for Eskimi DSP. Siddharth, welcome on screen, and Millie and Shivile, welcome back.
Thank you, and hello everyone. Good evening.
Perfect.
Hello. Nice to talk with you again.
Great. Okay. So how we are going to do this today? Nothing different from yesterday. So in a minute, the resource panel or the panel of experts will start presenting their content to you, and you can always ask questions using the Q&A box. And mind you, as I mentioned the other day, so those who actually participate in the board days, you will get a certificate of participation. On top of that, you will get the opportunity to actually sit through the programmatic advertising certification examination conducted by Eskimi. You will get the links to complete those certification as well. By tomorrow, you will get the second link. Today you would have got the first link. By tomorrow, you will get the second link. If you didn't get the link, or if you didn't get the presentation deck for yesterday's session, just reply or write to us or at info@apidm.lk, and we'll get in touch with you with the presentation deck and the certification exam links. All right, so over to you, Millie, Shivile, and Sid.
Okay, so today yesterday we were talking mainly, took the main part. So today we have our operation team manager, Sid, who will show the platform demo, and we'll go deep into how to plan campaigns, how to use one of the platforms. So we are from Eskimi, of course, we're demonstrating the Eskimi platform, but you will understand that the functionality is quite similar to others as well. So yesterday you heard a lot of the things which was more from the client servicing perspective, from the sales perspective, from points which is helpful for planning campaigns and understanding how to put programmatic language more from the business perspective. And today we're gonna go deep tech. So this part will be covered by Sid. And if any of the questions appears, so we have Millie, Sri Lanka country manager. I will be also here, so let us know if we can help you answering any of the questions regarding the programmatic. So over to you, Sid.
Thank you. So I'll be in a while share my screen to show what we will be discussing today. So today we'll be discussing few aspects of different types of campaigns, different types of creatives, and how, as per our requirements, as per the requirements from the brand side or agency side, how we can pull out the best out of the creatives, and how we can use the advanced tools on the cutting edge technology of DSP. So I'm sharing my screen. And I believe you guys can now see my screen here.
Yes, we can. Yeah.
Yeah. So at first, we want to thank AP IGM for organizing this one, as we all know. So today we'll be discussing few aspects of different things of DSP, and as we all know that it's a short online free course. So of course, a very advanced certification will be given later on once you actually pass the exams, and we'll be sharing the exam links later on today. So today we'll be discussing this one, as I mentioned earlier, that quickly we'll be going over different types of creatives and how it can benefit the brands and advertisers, and of course after that we are going to demonstrate few functionalities of a DSP platform. And here for our betterment, as we work at Eskimi, we'll be showing different functionalities of Eskimi platform, but globally more or less all the DSP platforms have similar tools and functionalities. So these are the types of creatives that we all know, that we can have static banners, we can have video ads, we can have rich media ads, and native ads. Native ads can be, you can also have native video ads, which is of course a type of native ads. And now we'll be going over static banners and its benefits. So as we all know that static banners, they are single frame most of the time, and containing images and different sort of text. And for static banners, there might be slight movement, which many of us might have seen, which are, it can be HTML, it can be GIF format. And of course, for static banners, we cannot have any user interaction. So static banners are not for interaction. It's rather, for brand awareness, when, since it has the maximum inventory globally, and it can run on different platforms like mobile, tablet, of course on desktop, and also on the feature phones sometimes, which and feature phone users, and feature phone users sometimes are ignored, and but using a DSP, you can always reach out to the feature phone users, where you can use this format. And through using static banners, you can actually go reach out to the maximum number of people, which means you can maximize your reach. So if you are planning a campaign, or if you are setting up or running a campaign, this is the banner that you should be going for brand awareness. Or even if you are driving your audience to your website, then this is one of the formats that you can always think of. And just as I earlier mentioned, that it has the largest inventory, and thus your rates will go down as if you're using the largest inventory, because the higher your audience is, the lower your rate will be. This is the rules for this. And the next thing that we have is the video ad and its benefits. So I think we all know the video ads, how it looks and all. But mainly, you know, when we are talking about video ads and inventories and a different type of platforms and different type of placements or websites or apps. So these are the two main types that you can have. That is in-banner video, in-stream video, and I think you know how they work. And in-banner video, just little introduction about the in-banner video formats. This is something that as we know, there's a on every web pages, the publishers will have a dimension 300 by 250, and this in-banner video actually runs within a 300 and 250 dimensions banner slots, and the other version, which is the vast one, this is as you know, this is video ad server templates. So if the publishers have this template integrated to their publisher to their web page, or if you are willing to run the ads on the apps. So as we know that these days app has the highest inventory, because many people and most of the people are using so many different types of apps, and vast format is something that mostly runs on apps, or it can of course run on the website when the publishers have the templates in there. And we also have native video, which we'll be discussing later on. Best thing about video is that video, if you're using a video format or a video banner, you can actually reach out to the people, reach out to the users using all the information, all the message that you want to incorporate within a banner. So if you have a 15 seconds creative video, then you can actually give and put so many pieces of information within a video, within the content. As we all know that video actually entertains, it educates, because you can actually incorporate so many things in the video, in a video content, and users who are seeing video feel actually connected to that particular content. And whenever we are using video, then there are a few metrics that we will always be keeping our minds, because we need to understand what duration or what type of video is relevant, and we need to consider we always need to consider the duration of the video ads, and through the video metrics, then you can always measure that what video types or what duration is being interacted by the users most, just through going through the by just going through the video metrics that you have. You will see different quartiles if the users are seeing videos, entire videos, or maybe they're watching the first quartile of the videos. So if you are creating a content or planning a campaign, these are the things that you can always consider. And video, when you are running video campaigns, you can always run video campaigns for your brand awareness. If the objective is brand awareness, you can always use this. If you want to drive the users to your website, that means if your objective is to drive your users to the website, you can always use video ads for maximum reach as well. And native ads, I don't think I have so many things to discuss here, because native ads are something that we most of us see on the web pages. It actually look like news content, and that's why it doesn't actually interrupt or bother the users, and it feels very organic. And in different placements, in different website, on different websites or apps, it looks different, because it is made of very flexible components, and on different devices and different types of placements, this particular type will change its shape so that it fits in, in maximum inventory. And if we are planning a campaign or running a campaign to drive the audience to the website, or if we want to, if we are running a campaign for installations, for different types of objectives, we can always use this type, that means the native ads. And this is something that we have seen, over time, that it is actually engaging the users. It is attracting the users, and thus it always results in good CTR. And of course, since it has different shapes, since it has larger inventory, you can of course always reach out to the largest audience. Now let's talk about some rich media ads. Rich media ads actually are the ads which always has, not always has, it has few different types. If it's a dynamic ad, then you can always integrate few information like weather forecasting, or in Asia, cricket is very popular. So if a cricket match is going on, you can always you can see the cricket's live score on the app, so on the banners. So rich media banner actually attracts the users, and this is highly interactive if you're using it if you're using it properly, and if you are using it using the right format. So it can be like drag and drop. So you are letting your audience to play with your banner. That means it creates better brand image in the minds of the users or in the minds of the audience. And we can incorporate actually a whole lot of range of technology in here. It can be a drag and drop, and there are formats you might have seen that which shows an effect of shake and break. So you shake your mobile, and any offer that the brands are offering to the audience, will pop up for those banners. So and also you can let your audience, as I said, engage with the banner. So as you can see, it as we have already discussed, that this is very attractive. It always impresses the audience, and if we are reaching out to the right audience, we'll get great engagement. And sometimes you can measure that okay, you have reached say 1 million users, and you have received 500,000 engagement. So now you know which people to interact, or who interacted with your banner, and later on you can keep those audience in your funnel, and later on you can remarket those audience. And this is very much customizable. That is something that we should always keep in mind. As per your product, or as per your brand, you can always customize this type of banners. And as you can see, as we also mentioned earlier, that it actually leaves a very positive image of the brand in users' mind. And this is highly recommended for brand awareness campaigns. If you are promoting a new product, or if you are planning a campaign for awareness, this is something that we recommend for you. So that was all about different types of creatives. So now we'll be going over the platform, and if we have any questions, maybe we can.
Awesome. Yeah. So I think most of the questions have been answered by Jivile and Amita. But just two questions, Sid, that I kind of would like to fire at you. One is basically asking where can we place native ads, as the publisher generally has specific ad slots. So I think they just want a little bit more information in terms of how native ads work.
Okay, so the question is where we can place native ads.
Yeah.
Okay, in terms of the type of publishers, as I mentioned, you can always push these ads to the excuse me, to apps and websites. But then again, it depends on the publishers as well. If they're not offering this type of ads, if they don't support it or allow it, then we of course cannot do that. Nobody can do that. So for that, it's always, it depends on the platforms as well. Sometimes, the platforms can check if this inventory is available or not. So when we are dealing with clients or agencies or partners, they're asking us that, okay, we need to, we will run this type of banners. So what might be the, approx inventory for that? So then we check that, and then we go for that.
Awesome. And there was another question. I think it will be good to be answered for the benefit of the other viewers as well. In terms of what are the types of campaigns that Eskimi supports. So I don't know, maybe you have that planned to take them through when you're doing the platform or before, just to tell the users what type of objectives that we support in programmatic and in Eskimi, whether it's similar to the types of objectives that you have on Facebook and Google.
Okay, so maybe I can answer this one right now. So if I talk about Eskimi, or maybe I can focus on Eskimi just for this answer, because as I said, more or less all the DSPs have similar functionalities. But okay, so for us, you can always run brand awareness campaigns if you want to uplift your brand image, and then you can have traffic campaign, performance campaign, and of course all the other campaigns like installations, or if you are trying to if you are say for example, if you are selling a product, you have only released that product on digital media or online, and you want to drive sales through that, and you want to track those, so you can have acquisition campaigns for that. And for that, if when we are doing this, we are sharing our pixels, and that pixel is implemented on the users, on the client's website, and thus you can track them. And it's just to mention, for all types of ads, it's highly recommend that you use a tracker to track that with third-party tools, or it can be seismic tags, it can be mode tags, not just relying on our reporting. You can always cross-check with other tracking tools as well. Does it answer the question?
Yes, Sid. Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Sid, just one more question just popped up. This is a little bit technical, but in terms of asking whether the buy type will remain CPM for all the objectives, or whether it can be customized for cost per install or cost per acquisition.
Okay, so very good question. Thank you. Actually, I want to thank the participant who actually had this question. This is we can have different buying types, but for just so you know that it is CPM. The buying is always CPM, but it depends how you want to drive your campaign. So if you are driving traffic to your website, so this is better that you go with the traffic model, and you measure the CPC. And if you are running or planning a brand awareness campaign, then you should be, of course, measuring the CPMs and other metrics like viewability. So you can measure, how many impressions out of the total impressions were viewed by the users, not, so that you don't waste your impressions. And of course, for like acquisition, or if it's an installation, then you can measure this. You can drive on on CPI model. So we have all the models. So it depends, how and what KPI you are setting up. But all the buyings in digital space is done on CPM. So you are always buying that, and all that basic buying is done through CPM. So CPM is always there, but it depends on the KPI of your campaign. Any more questions, Millie?
No, Sid, I think, yeah, you can move on to the platform part.
Okay. So this is the platform. If we just, as I said, on all ad platforms, if be it ad networks or DSPs, it has few similar things. So this is the mini DMP that many of us, and when we deal with clients, we see that people are mostly interested in the targetings, in the audience. So this is the mini DMP. I think I just will discuss DMP in a very short time. Like, DMP actually is the data management platform where all the data, because now we are living in a world where data actually drives everything. We are taking decisions based on the data that we have. And here, the mini DMP is this mini, data management platform. So if you are a user of a DSP, I will only talk about Eskimi DSP here, but it can be in different names, in different forms, but you will have some sort of data like this, and we call it a mini DMP, where all the like, as you can see on top of the screen, on the right top, that this is an account that webinar. So we created an account in webinar. So it can be your account, it can be your name, maybe your brand name can be here, and you can store all the data that you have, and your data is always safe with us, because this is something that your account is only visible to you and some of the users that Eskimi or any of the platform you are using, they will have those. So we'll start with the audience part, where different sort of audiences are, and how we can use them. So when you are planning a campaign, a full campaign life has few stages. So first is, of course, the planning part. So you are planning the campaign, and I believe this particular section, audience, will help you if you are a campaign planner, or if you are running a campaign, if you want to use a DSP, or if you are going self-serve or something like that, you can. We will go over that. So this will be useful for the planners as well. Like, there are different things, like, okay, if you are planning a campaign for Sri Lanka, say, for example, you might be needing a few information, like, okay, as I was saying, in the audience pool, you can see the behavioral interest, which we will be discussing first. So behavioral interest is based on our online behavior. So if any system or the system, if it sees that a particular user is browsing all automobiles products, and most of the time that user is using a few specific sites where the user interest might be automotive, and the system tracks that particular user as automobile enthusiast or something like that. So it can have different names. So I'm just giving here Sri Lanka, for example, and now if I'm choosing this one, the unique user number will appear here. So if you are a campaign planner, or if you are a brand manager and you are planning a digital campaign, ad campaign, then these are the things that you can always keep in mind, that what would be the possible target people for my product, or when you are planning a campaign. These are the numbers that might help you understand how you will be planning your campaigns. And when you are running a campaign, say if you are running a campaign, if you are a campaign manager, then these are the things that you do upfront before you really go to the audience. If when you are going to create a campaign, before that you need to do this, and this is based on this is a very Eskimi platform specific. Different platforms might have different functionalities based on this. So you can you can select this audience type in the campaign creation page. So when you are creating a campaign, you can choose your interest group from there. But for Eskimi, this is the pre-campaign stage, and you create the specific people, a specific interest group here, and then later on you use this audience. So you have different types of audience. So for example, this is hybrid and alternative vehicles, micro cars or motorcycles. It actually has different interest group. I think most of the platforms have this one, but then again, it the strength of this targeting depends on the DMP. The richer the DMP is, the more effective the targeting will be. And so this one is basically shows the number of users that have that, and this is based on our DMP. So different DMPs or DSPs can show you different numbers. So based on your requirements, you can always select the interest group that you want to target. So if you are promoting any real estate product or something like that, so you go here and you select this one, and you see some sort of numbers. So it's actually showing all the selected number of So as you can see, the DMP shows that we have this number of reach or unique users for real estate. So I think this is not something that that shows the holistic thing. It's very niche. So you are going very niche here. So if you are planning a campaign for real estate companies and you want to reach out to the people who might be interested in this, so this is the number that right now you have. So you can have different interest group. So let's not waste any time over here, because this is pretty much basic things and we know it. So let's move on to the next one, which might interest you, which is the geolocations. I think this is something that is something that has been discussed yesterday as well. So I'll be spending less time here. So as you can see, you can select the range, how long you can, how long you are interested to collect the audience, and of course the validity. So if you are planning a campaign, just to be shown, just to be displayed on some festival is going for any festival, and you are planning a campaign and you only want the people who are visiting that particular festival or attending that festival and will be seeing these ads. So you can use the hyperlocation and you can select the validity. So like 3 hours, for example. So the users will be valid for this amount of time. So, or if you have bigger plans, so you can do this like days. So actually this is very, you know, easy thing. So if you are planning a campaign or something, you just need to know, and this particular tool is very effective for all sorts of you know, brands. If you are say I think in Sri Lanka, for example, so far I know cricket is very popular. So you want to, you know, collect some audience who are really you know, cricket lovers. So you are creating a geofence just around the Premadasa Stadium, and you are interested in targeting those people even when they are back to their home. And for this, you can have longer validity time, and like 3 days, 30 days, and the maximum validity, say for Eskimi, it's 90 days. You know, different platforms might have different user validity range or span. So as I was saying that, now I'm going over Premadasa Stadium, and I can actually create a geofence like here. Ignore the part that is created already. So just for example, I'm showing you. So depending on the shape, yeah, it might not be the right radius of the stadium, but this will do. So everyone coming to this particular area or to this stadium, you know, if you have created this virtual map ahead of the time, then you will be able to collect those audience, and later on, even when they're at their homes, you can show your ad to these users. And these are actually whoever buying tickets and going to the stadiums are true, you know, sports fans. So this might be one of the options that you can use along with the, you know, the other tool that I was discussing, that the interest group. So you can use their cricket or sports in general, and you can have this one. So there you can have multiple layers of targeting. So it depends on you how effectively you are managing this tool, or you are using this one. And the other thing, like this. So this modality remains same, the date, that means how long you want to collect the audience, and how long you want to, you know, keep in the DMP, or how long you want to, you know, keep them validated or valid as per your requirements. Everything, you know, these things are very relative and very customizable. So you can always, you know, think differently for different requirements. So for example, this one. So I'm setting up 6th May to 8th May, and anyone visiting the website. Okay, so Sri Lanka. So as I was mentioning, that in Sri Lanka, cricket is very popular. So let's see, we can, if we, it's not showing. Okay, so CrickBuzz. So CrickBuzz is a very popular website for, you know, cricket fans. So whenever any game is going on or anything, you can always, you know, we always use this site. So so this is another aspect of targeting, that first we saw that you can reach out to the audience via the interest group, So, and the interest group has cricket in it, or sports overall. Then for the same audience, just for for the example, I have taken cricket just for this session, because you can reach out to that audience via the behavioral tool that you have. Then you have the geofence audience, where you can have another layer of audience, and it's very niche. It's very niche. And this one, so for the same audience, you are using different types of targeting tools. So here, if I'm selecting ClickBuzz here, and I said anyone visiting the website, and this is ClickBuzz, and how the next question comes, and how does it work? So if you are visiting this website, you of course on the digital platform, you are somehow leaving some digital footprints on the internet, like because we have our browsing patterns and all, and that's how the DMP catches and calculates, and then calculates, evaluates, and then confirms that okay, this guy is a cricket fan. So if you are visiting website, this particular website, and we are creating this like anyone visiting the website, so the system is able to collect audience from the from that particular website. So if you are visiting this website, we are actually collecting you, and later on we can, if we need, we will be showing the ads to you. So rule is here, you visit the website, and the system catches you in the DMP, and later on you can use that particular user in that particular tool to reach out to that user. So a particular user is somehow captured, evaluated with 3 different tools. So now it depends on you, how you want to utilize this tool. And another aspect of this, user visiting specific websites. So I'm selecting this one. Okay, so this is the basic domain, that clickbuzz.com. Now, if you want, and now you want to reach out to the people who are using a specific website, like somebody is visiting clickbuzz.com/Sri Lanka. So these are the people who are, looking for information about Sri Lankan cricket team. So they're visiting. This is ClickBuzz. So we can actually take any things like this. So now all the information about Sri Lankan cricket is here right now. So this is the main domain, and you are taking this portion out of here. And you are putting this here. So now you've gone more niche now, because first I mentioned that you can track the users who are visiting that particular website. And now if you are using this particular keywords like cricket team Sri Lanka 5, so anyone visiting this this particular website or this particular section of Sri Lankan national cricket team, you can capture these users. So you are collecting these users, and you are able to show your ads to only those people. So now I give example from cricket, but it might be an e-commerce website where you'll be seeing this. And another thing can be, yes, of course, the e-commerce website. Now you are visiting an e-commerce site, and now you are searching with cars. So you are writing cars in the search box. So it works. It actually similar to the search campaigns. but in a different way. And you can, like, you are searching cars in the website, and now the website is taking you to some page, and just like this, like, this is the main domain, and after .com, this particular, you know, these words or keywords can be, as I said, pasted here. So here we are seeing that cricket team Sri Lanka. There you might have, you know, Toyota cars. So depending on your requirements, you can set up the rules. Or if there is any particular section, say you are visiting bbc.com and you want to reach out to the people who are mostly interested in targeting the people who are actually interested in finance or politics or anything, you can again do that thing. Millie, do you have any questions till now for this?
Not on these areas, Sid.
Okay. So here you can see news. So for example, I'm taking this example for now, news. As I said, it depends on your requirements. So if we have BBC here, then I can, okay. So bbc.com here, and now you're using news. So the system works like, we'll be collecting audience from this. So bbc.com is the main website, and then news, and that's how it works. And the, you know, other things remains the same. The date, you know, how long you want to collect and how long you want to make the users valid. Those are, you know, these things remain same. And user IDs, these are, you know, on Eskimi platform or in different platform, you can always upload the CSV files of the user, you know, devices of the device IDs of the users. So it is like you have already collected some audience, already the device IDs or audience IDs. You just need to upload a file from here. So I'm not going to show this one, but just, you know, for your understanding, I am sharing this. And if you're using site first party, okay. So this one is quite similar of the other one that we showed. So you can actually track the users who are visiting any, you know, any brand's website. For example, if you want to, you know, collect audience from a particular website, so, you know, for tracking purpose, of course, you will need to use the pixels, and that needs to be, of course, implemented to track those users properly. And you can always add, you know, the websites as user visiting. It's the same modality that we had. It's the same modality. So you just need to select the requirements. So this part cannot be demonstrated fully because it requires more things which I cannot show here, and that's why, you know, I'm not going deep into this. But it works very similar to the other one that I saw, because as I said, it requires some sort of a pixel implementation and all, so which cannot be, you know, displayed here. And other parameters remain the same. So yeah, so I think, Millie, we can take the questions now.
Awesome. Okay, so we have few questions. One, I think both are kind of interconnected. One is regarding geolocation. So how can we track audience in geolocation? So I think they want to know how it works actually, the geolocation tracking, and how does the ad delivery work?
Okay, so how we are collecting the audience, that is the question, right?
Correct. How we are collecting the audience, the data source, how we identify the location, and second part of the question would be how we do the ad serving for those audiences afterwards.
Okay. So one thing I just want to share with a very familiar thing that we all do. Like if we are using apps, we might have seen that the app wants to access your location, and we are of course for our requirements we are allowing them to use our locations, and we all know that these apps of course they have data. So digitally, we all of us, whoever has some sort of, whoever has internet connection, we are actually digitally exposed to the world, or the to the organizations who are collecting data. So we are visiting some places, like, okay, I'm going to stadiums. So now my device is with me, and if our location is turned on, we are instantly collected. We can instantly we're actually instantly sharing our location there. And in every location, I mean, we are using internet, and that might be any mobile data. So when we are using mobile data, your location can be traced through GPS, or the IP ranges you're using. Your location is there, and the system can actually track the users who are using particular IP ranges. So all the IPs have, of course, the ranges, and we are using different networks. So wherever we are moving, we are somehow under any sort of network, and thus the location is tracked. And when you want to track this, I mean, the other part of the question was how we are using this. So as I shared, that you are creating so it can be a stadium, it can be a building. And I think we actually ran so many campaigns targeting that. Like we created geofence or a virtual map on particular maybe it can be a residential area. So you have a super shop, you are a super shop owner, and you want to target, I'm talking about a very small targeting, like a particular area. So you are creating a geofence around or on or above that particular area. So you are creating a virtual map, like, okay, this is area A. Now I want to target only area A, and I want to show my ads to only these people, because my super shop is located in that particular area, and my prime customers are the residents of this particular area. So you are creating you're drawing that virtual map, and you are selecting, of course, a range, how long you want to collect those audience, and how long you want to keep them valid. If your plan is to show the users ads when they're visiting your store, so this is more of a hyper location. So you create less or small validity for that audience. Or if your target is to show those to show your ads to those audience for say 7 days, so you collect the audience, make it valid for 7 days, and you use them for your requirement. And there are now in today's world, like as I said, DSP of course is a cutting edge technology, and day by day it's improving. Like for us, like now Eskimi has a tool where you actually can track the footprints. That means you are showing your ads online and driving your users offline to your store. Maybe it can be the store. So now you can measure the footfall. And we actually ran really successful campaigns for Burger King, where we tracked those users who who actually saw the ads online and visited Burger King restaurant, Burger King shop. So we tracked those audience, and as I said, it has actually different aspects. So it depends on how you want to use your audience. So if you are conducting say a music festival, and you want to actually you want to collect those audience, so then you again create a virtual map over that particular area that that we saw that it's a virtual map. A map is already integrated. Now it depends on you. So now, as I was saying, I gave examples of Premadas Stadium to collect the users who are visiting the stadium only, and we have set some days. So it can be a single day, and this third and it can be 25 minutes. I'm sorry.
If I may jump in and add, yesterday we were talking about the geofence technology and how to use that in different perspectives and different needs. I can add that basically when user downloads any kind of app, they agrees with some kind of policies that each app has. So like when you're using WhatsApp, it also uses your location services. So each app has different policies, and those who provides their longitude, latitude of the user at the moment, as you explained with those examples in being in the stadium and so on. So through exchanges, it comes to our DMP, and then we can collect those audiences, like identify, okay, so we see that in that selected location, when you select in the map, we see that there are a number of users, and we match with DMP IDs, which we have in our DMP site, and say, okay, so we recognize those users, and now we can reach them. So basically, you can, as Sid just was telling you, you can reach them in a short duration. In other words, you can reach them in a real time. Showing the ads on, of course, on inventory that is available through exchanges, those banners, videos, and all of those placements. Or you can just collect the audience and then use that after some time. The example from yesterday with the gas station. So like if you select the stadium, for example, if you was seen, if the user was seen in the stadium, so probably he could be interested in some, I don't know, ticket subscription promotions or something like that. So you can send afterwards, okay, I know you were there, so why don't you see our promotions on, like, I don't know, monthly ticket or something like that. So with this example, as we discussed yesterday, I think that all of you have received the records of the webinar. If you want to go through the webinar which we had yesterday, so check that again, just refresh the memory. Of course, contact our team members to explain each of the case, how it would be best to select. And yeah, so use this technology in all the possible ways how to help. I hope this answers the question about how the data is being collected and how it's been served.
Thank you, Zivila.
Yeah, I think, yeah, we've got I think one more question along the same lines. I think Sid touched on it a little bit, but maybe just to add a little bit more clarity, there's another question in terms of how do you target just one country or a province? So maybe, I don't know, Sid, you want to take that on? Just to give you a heads up, I think Sri Lanka is a little bit unique because our geographic location is small. Not all the networks are kind of allocated based on the provinces. So I think like Colombo and some of the big places are.
Okay. So yeah. If the area, if it's say region or state, so we have the state level targeting, and but this particular tool can be used for that as well. And there, I think the user will be the user number will be larger than a stadium, of course. So that particular sector or that particular state can be reached out through both the ways. You go to the the geolocation targeting or geofencing targeting, which we are right now. So yeah, so both the things can be done in any, not on, I cannot say in all platforms, but if you are if I am using Eskimi platform, then I would go by the city or the region or state level targeting, or I would be using geofencing. That means what I just show. So I have just shown. So for state, your map just needs to be drawn wider. That's all.
So in other words, if you want to target the country, it's possible. If you want to target the city, the region, province, it's possible. Of course, like it's a standard kind of thing for us. So we're not talking about that anymore. Therefore, we're just sharing like those cherry on the top kind of things like geofencing when going to the very niche locations and capabilities in this way using this technology. Okay, so shall we move further? We will go through the questions, try to answer them. Thank you, they are actually coming quite fast. And if I may add, we started talking about the geofence and the footfall. So there was a question from Sveta, if I'm pronouncing correctly, about the online to offline visits, so that footfall tracking campaign, Burger King, which Sid also mentioned. We talked actually yesterday about that as well. So we use at the background, we use geofencing technology, then seeing the users first in one location and then seeing if they, the same users after seeing the ads came to other location as required. So at the background, it's a geofence use, but there is a different kind of logic and calculation identifying user activity through the time. I hope that answers the question. If any other will arise, please let us know. We can have a separate conversation how to use footfall tracking and include that in the campaigns.
So maybe we can move forward, or we have questions?
I think we can move forward because we could be speaking for hours and extend the webinar for a very long time because we try to make it as short as possible. After the webinar, we definitely will be sharing, we have Eskimi Academy videos prepared, also reading material. So this will help, I hope so, to cover those still left blind spots if any of the missing information needed to be filled in. So I think we can move forward.
Okay, thank you so much, Zavila. Just to add with Zavila about the geofence, it's on a very simple calculation. Like you are setting up two different points. So you are setting up point A and point B. So you just need to track from area A who has or who had visited area B, and that's pretty much simple. I mean, outwardly it's very much simple, but the technology behind it is of course very complex. So so many times we get queries like running campaigns on specific websites or specific apps. So here and of course we have some questions like, okay, we are not seeing our ads, so can you please run the ads on specific websites? Yes, we are not against running campaigns on particular websites, but when you are using such technologies like DSP, it is more about the audience. It's not about websites. It's not about the apps or website your visitors, your users are only using. Because if I give an example, like right now, I might not be visiting a sports portal because right now not many sports events are going on. But if I am your target audience, or if I am your target group, then you should choose your audience wisely. Like, okay, so let me target the the sports 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 fan. So you use the different levels of targeting that I shared, because those are the things that have been developed over time, and those are the data that now is the time to use those data. Not only targeting those websites, because I might not be visiting that website, but I am using a different app. So you can always reach out to me, or you can always reach out to your audience, not only through publishers, but not only through specific publishers like 3 or 4 websites. Because if you are using 3 or 4 websites, then you are limiting your audience size. So your ads will only be shown to your audience when your target audience is visiting that website. So I might be visiting 10 websites every day. So if you are limiting your ads to specific websites only, that might not always serve your purpose. But that doesn't mean that you won't be using this particular like you might have a whitelist suggested by the brand or the advertiser, or and you can run your ads. So in this section we'll be going over this. So if you, for example, you have planned your campaigns and you do not want to show your ads to specific apps or specific website. This is the first aspect, that you do not. That means you are creating a blacklist for this. So you are using test and country, for example, Sri Lanka. So depending on your website, type, like requirements, you can select if you want to run your ads only on apps, or if you want to exclude these apps or sites. So by default, both of them are here. And as you can see from the list, that Emo, Shareit, Viber, Emo, then again, since we are getting traffic from different for the same publishers or apps or data or website, we have multiple names here. So these are the top right now, which are getting most of the traffic. So for example, you want to show your ads only to Emo users or Viber users or Shareit users, or maybe Tamil Win or MX Player. So, or for example, Worldometers. So Worldometers is right now having a huge chunk of traffic, because all the people who are interested to know the updates of COVID-19 or something like that, which country has what stats. That's why Worldometers is very popular these days. So so for example, you don't want to show your ads to these websites. So you just need to select these websites or apps and hit the save button. And once this is saved, this is usable from the campaign audience section, which I will be of course discussing after this, how we are using that. And now the second aspect, that you want to show your ads only to particular websites. So these are the websites that you have selected, and you are showing your ads only to these websites or apps. So this is as you can see, package. It might have different names in different platforms. So depending on your requirements, you can select which, if you really want to make it a whitelist or you want to make it a blacklist. So it depends on you. So these are the things. And
Sid, there's a question I think linked to that. So basically asking about the domains that appear on the dashboard, whether they are registered with our SSP or not, and whether we can select multiple domains.
Okay. So the question, if this is if we can have multiple domains, means the interest. Like this is something that if I'm selecting tamilwin.com, that means anyone visiting tamilwin.com, that's the main domain. And after that, it can have /sports, /business, or / anything. I mean the sections that the newspapers have. So you can use two things here. You can either get the users who are visiting there, or use this particular website along with the sports interest. And the other part was
the other question was the list that appears there. Does that mean that all of those websites have registered with our SSP?
Yes.
Or is it coming through an ad exchange? Or
no, the thing is, let us be very clear and simple. Let's think very in a very simple way about SSPs and ad exchanges or something. All the SSPs, they are some sort of they're not exchange, but they are networks. And here, whatever we are saying this, it has a mixture of collections, like Eskimi SSP. If I'm talking about Eskimi SSP only, say for example, I'm taking Eskimi SSP. So in our SSP or in any SSP, that SSP needs to have the particular websites or apps. So here we are seeing all the publisher or the website or apps name which either we have SSP there, or we are having this from another ad exchanges or other sources or bit switch. It can be anything. So
if I may jump in, you remember yesterday we were showing how the programmatic network is the map of different the ones who participated in yesterday's webinar. So you may remember those primary slides when Melinda was explaining all what is DSP, SSP, and all of those keywords, fancy words, and all the parts of the programmatic network, how the media buying is happening. So the list that you see here, Sid, showing you is all the inventory that we can reach through our DSP. And you remember yesterday we explained that on the DSP side, we have connected approximately 45 SSPs and exchanges. And beneath those exchanges and SSPs like DoubleClick, Mopub, Rubicon, Smart, and lots of the others, there's lots of the exchange, lots of the publishers, apps, websites as well, international, locals, lots of them. And SSP is a different part. Eskimi is also having its own SSP, but let's don't mix all of those into one. Here we see all the inventory that could be reached through the DSP, through the programmatic part. The SSP means that it is directly connected with the publishers. So yes, Eskimi has that part. We can have a direct integrations with local publishers on the SSP platform. But in that case, it will not be going through the exchanges, all those buying and conversations with the publisher. It would go through Eskimi SSP platform as a different kind of channel. So here we see the DSP inventory. So remember those exchanges that we have allows us to not only to show our ads in different inventory, but also collect sufficient amount of the information about the users, and at the same time use this intent-based audience targeting, and at the same time select whitelist, blacklist, all of that inventory, just depending on what is needed. I hope it's a little bit more clear.
Yeah, I think so, Shivle. Yeah.
Okay,
so over to you, Sid.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So I think I don't need to explain anything, as Vila has added in additional things that were needed. So yeah, that's it about this this portion. And about this portion, here, we can now I will show what features a DSP might have. But here I will be only, of course, showing Eskimi DSP. But as I mentioned at the very outset of the session, that different DSPs or all DSPs will have similar features. So for us, since many of you know that we have a single view dashboard, so from our dashboard we can actually use other sector, other platforms as well. So as you can see, Facebook, YouTube, and AdWords. And of course, now this is Eskimi. Now I'm selecting Eskimi. So let's forget what platform you have chosen. So just take it as a standard platform where you can you can use all the features to promote your brand, your product. So here as you might have seen yesterday, there are a lot of not yesterday actually, I earlier discussed that the different types of creatives. So the creatives actually need to be uploaded and are needed to be uploaded and before you actually create a campaign. So you need to so for example, I'll only be going over this very quickly. I will only show what type of creatives we can use. So as you can see, it has banner, it has native video and all. So I'm selecting banner as the most popular one. So as usual, you just need to give a name. You are selecting a date, something like that, or if you want to run or show your ads on a specific time or on specific days, you might have a promotion going on which only needs to be shown on particular days. So for example, I'm deselecting Friday. So your offer is not valid for Friday. You might have a home delivery service which is not on Friday. So you will just select this one. This is quite common across all platforms. If you're using any other DSP or any other platforms like Google or Facebook, it has similar options. But yeah, that might have a different forms or different user interface, but things are quite similar. And now this is where you set your bidding. So if it depends. Bid will be of course different for different modalities of campaign. So if you are just adding few notes in between, like if you are promoting a brand awareness campaign, if you're running a brand awareness campaign, then it you of course will have some sort of KPI, and depending on that you will be setting up the bids. And so I selected a range. The system calculates the daily budget automatically, and now you are just setting up a bid for your campaign from here. And we get a lot of questions from different people, different clients, partners we work with, that okay, we are not seeing our ads, or that particular maybe the advertiser is not seeing their ads. Now it depends. It depends, because if you are in a country where your total reach or digital reach is say 2 million, and your expected impression out of your banner is, for example, is again 1 million. So depending on the setup that you have, depending on the modality that you have, the possibility is very less that you will see your ad. Either you don't belong to that group, the user group, you may be interested in something else, and you might not see the ads. Now you have only 1 million impressions to deliver, and the total user is of course 1 million. So there is very little chance that you will see your ads. But it doesn't matter. As long as you have planned your campaigns properly, and you have you have used the correct audience in your campaign, your ads will be shown to the right audience. And if you are running a campaign for higher reach, then this is very normal that you may or may not see, or maybe you may see the ads for for once, because you are trying to reach to a very wide audience. So you want maximum reach for your audience. So it's very normal that that you might or might not see. And there are other other things like viewability. We should always measure viewability when we are running a brand awareness campaign, of course, especially brand awareness campaigns, because the impression is served when the ad actually loads in the website. So if you are browsing a website, and if your banner is placed right here, as I think you can see my screen, and right here, yeah, the possibility is very high that you will be seeing the ads and the viewability will be very good. But if you are not, if you are scrolling down and at some point you leave that website, just on the website at the bottom, your banner might be might appear. So the impression is served, but it's not viewed. So there are a few metrics that you will be of course measuring all the time when you are running a brand awareness campaign, or if it's a traffic, driving traffic to your website, then you will be of course measuring the other thing, right? The prices, the CTR, you can always you can always measure. So for here we have Sri Lanka, country, and audience is here. We maybe we didn't create any audience before that, but yeah, we have one audience. Just I'm selecting, for example. So you have to create your audience. If you are using Eskimi DSP, then you have to create your audience before you actually create the campaign. So in different platforms, it might have different names, different forms, different UI. So, and of course you can target with demographic information, then language, then socioeconomic class groups.
Sid, we have a question regarding the demographics and age. So if we may interrupt right here, it will be a very good place to explain that question.
Okay.
So the basic question sounds like this. In Google Ads, the demographics integration in gender category is similar like in Eskimi, but there's lots of the unknown, identified as unknown audiences. And does the Eskimi has the same issue, and how do we filter male, female category, how to split that data? Let me remind you, yesterday we also covered that topic and have explained the differences between platform, how they collect that particular information. So in other words, I can repeat the same things we have discussed. So as you remember, when user logs into the site do not ask what is your gender, what is your age. Usually only the app providers requires that. Yes, YouTube, Facebook, when you create your account, you provide that information like because it is mandatory for in those closed platforms. So they have that information of all the users. But when you have in mind all those publishers available through the exchanges, the website, when you go, I don't know, to Gossip Lanka, it doesn't literally ask you your gender and so on. So from that reason, when you run your ads in the sites, at the same time, it doesn't collect information about this info. Therefore, lots of the users has been seen as unknown gender, unknown age gap, and so on. So in other words, only information that comes from apps provides us information about this type, because literally the publishers requires to answer that, so we have that info as well. Gender, age is not being collected by the cookies. I hope that I answered your question. Sid, if you want to please add anything else.
I think you have explained it well. I think you have explained it full. Okay, so maybe we can move on.
Yeah.
And just want to add one thing. Publishers actually do not have any DMP. So if you do not have, you cannot. If most of the publishers, of course, do not have them. So those information, those pieces of information need to be stored somewhere. Otherwise, we cannot have them. But the apps, of course, they are taking our information, and it's pretty much easy sometimes. Okay, so
we have one question, if we may interrupt here regarding the choosing which bid, how to choose the bid for the campaign, like how to know bidding model and also how to select the ideal CPM price for the campaign. So could you explain a little bit more your know-how?
Yeah, I think I can. So actually, there is no standard CPM. That's the first thing we need to understand. It depends on the targeting. So every platform, if you are running a campaign like for mass people, like you're running campaigns for all the Sri Lankan audience, you don't want to filter it with any, any tool like demographic or any interest base or something like that. So you might have a different, the cost will be lower there. And of course the cost will be lower, and it depends, again, it will always vary from type of product you are promoting, type of creative you are using based on that. But here, this is the maximum bid that you are setting for your campaigns. It can be done at the different banners level, different ad types level, but actually it depends. You know, for wider audience, for larger audience, you might not need high bid, but for niche audience, for the users, as I said, who were collected from Tripremadasa Stadium, then they might not be like 1 million or 500,000. They might be 20,000. So you need to of course bid. You need to understand the bidding model yourself. You need to just do some homework. If you are not working in this space, then you just need to understand how the bid process works, and it's fairly a complex method which actually cannot be explained in a particular. Not today, but it will depend how you want to bid, for your campaigns. But there is no standard CPM for your campaigns. You cross check, you check the audience, you check the targeting, and of course depending on the banners. So if we are working with any partner, if they're coming to us, they're discussing things with us, then we suggest CPMs. So okay, they want to go, if your lowest CPM, say for the mass target is, if it's 20 cent, so for 20,000 audience, it might go up to $5. You don't know. You just need to have understanding of the bidding process and how it works, because you are bidding and you are bidding for an auction, for online. The RTB real-time bidding. In that process you are bidding. So depends, it depends on the requirements, depend on the creatives, depend on your target audience. Now you are setting up your bidding there, and if there are a lot of traffic, a lot of audience, you can reach to your audience at a very cheaper rate. But if you have a niche audience, you will be bidding very high. Or actually you are bidding means you are competing with other bidders. So there might be other advertisers who are spending for particular ad types for particular ad types. So for example, BBC has a dedicated slot for video ads, and now everyone is bidding for that slot. So the bid will go higher. So if somebody is buying it, for 50 cent, you cannot expect you can instantly get or available slot at 10 cents. Or 30 cents. You have to, bid higher to get more impressions delivered. So actually, it will depend. But I recommend that whoever asks the question is very good, and we just need to understand the bidding process first, and then set your when you start working in this field, then you over time with experience, you will have idea how you bid. But for this, for example, this one, so if you're running a campaign when you have set a maximum CPM of 50 cent, so if, again, I said this is a very relative thing. You might have different targeting groups. So if I know that, okay, I had a campaign for this similar campaign I did, and I know the market know-how, then I would bid this one. So that's the highest that the advertiser is willing to pay. Per 1,000 impression. So I might start with this. The answer is very relative. The slabs are very relative.
Okay, so Sid, I believe we could spend another 2 hours explaining how to learn to choose the bids effectively, what data sources we should use, and so on. I would encourage, we will share Eskimi Academy videos. We have done lots of the videos explaining each of the parts. So you recommend to look through those. Of course, there are some basic parts, how to understand the whole environment of real-time bidding and so on. So I hope that you have just Google, try to figure out different sources and so on. From our side, we've created those videos, so please look at them. And well, then it's time of the experience and know how to use different platforms and use that in a best and most effective way, choosing all of those criteria and the combinations of that. Of course, the system itself, those machine learning, artificial algorithms, they're doing their part as well. But well, technology is not up to that level, so it would decide all those biddings itself from the start. It still needs ad ops interaction with the campaigns, depending on the results, change the bids if the campaign is not going, and so on. So there's not an easy question, a very good one, as Sid said, not an easy to explain. I would suggest to move forward and encourage to look through those videos, which will be shared on your registration emails, the emails that you have used when you register to this webinar. So we will share all those links, all the information sources, and I hope that you'll find enough of the information explaining each part, including the effective bidding part as well.
Yeah. Yeah, so maybe I can quickly go over the other things. So you know, this is one of the features for the platforms, like the mobile operator targeting. So if you are a telco, then if you have a package to promote your product, and you know, it can be any data pack, and you want to show your ads only to only to particular telco. So for example, I'm taking, say for example, Hutch. So if Hutch is planning a data pack campaign, so obviously they will be targeting the Hutch users only. But if Hutch is planning a campaign to attract users from different platforms, I mean from different operators, then they will have, of course, different banners, different sort of designs, and messages on them, and then Hutch might plan a campaign targeting the other operators that they have in the country. So you might have different plans for different campaigns. So depending on your requirements, you can target the users and Wi-Fi, of course. And okay, the next thing that we have is a device type. So these are the device type: that connected TV, feature phone, and personal computers, smartphone, and tablet. And among them, of course, smartphones, of course, have the highest or largest inventory, and then comes PC, and then the other, like tablets, feature phone, or connected TV. And then you can target by device brands. So if this, if you are, say for example, I'm just choosing Samsung just for an example. So you are a competitor, so of Samsung, and you are launching a campaign. You are launching a campaign where you want to show the ads only to Samsung users. So you can use this one. So you can choose the device brands, and of course you can always use a device model. So here you just need to use select the brands that the models that you want to choose for your campaign, and just select this one and use this one. So this is pretty much simple. You just need to, this is just like a form. You just need to fill it up, and depending on your requirements, of course, and device browsers. So you can select everything in here that I'm showing will of course be different for different type of products. And device cost range, yeah. So you want to say, for example, for example, you are promoting a device. You have released a new device price. I mean new device, which is pretty much expensive, and you don't want to show you the ads to the people who are using maybe mid-range device owner, or who are using like anything in between 0 to 300 USD device price users. So you can exclude them, because these users are not likely to buy the expensive phones. So you can choose from here. You can target based on your requirements, of course. Or you might have the other thing, like if your product is something that that costs maybe 300 USD, and you don't want to show your ads to the people who are using high-end devices. So you choose these ranges depending on your requirements. So this is one of the features. And advanced telecom targeting, I think your study session covered so many things like this. So like 4G connected device or something. This is more actually important for the telcos or multi-operator SIM card. So things like this. Or operator churn. Operator churn is very advanced tool. Sometimes, for example, you are using telecom A. Now you have switched to telecom B, and now you haven't been using the telecom A for last 3 months or 4 months. Now telecom B, where now telecom B, now you are a telecom B user. Now the telecom A is planning a campaign to show ads to you. That means the people, the users who wants is to be user of that particular telecom. So you use that operator churn, and if we call it win back campaigns. So you show ads to the people who once used to be a user of, say, your telco. So you are showing them that if they come back to the old telco, what benefits they will be getting, or something, what packages, was data offers they will be, or what talk time they will be getting. So this is the tool that you can always use. Not all platforms will have this one, of course, but using so many data and data points, we have developed this. So you can have this one, and this is more of we have discussed about reach, impressions, and all. And now frequency capping. This is the cap. If you are planning, if you want to reach to a wider audience, of course you won't be showing your ads to you won't be showing your ads to a particular user, say for example 10 times. So this is the tool, this is the tool that you should be using every most of the platforms, of course, have this one. You can always cap your number of impressions. You can cap your number of clicks, of course, and you can choose the range that, okay, you want to show your ads for example, you have a 7-day your campaign duration is 7 days, and now you want to show your ads, say, for 3 times for a user. So depending on your requirements, you select this one. You can use the capping. So this is called the frequency capping tool. It is almost common across all advanced platforms. And now we have this magic tool, we call it, this auto optimization. So this is, of course, dependent on the machine learning. So depending on our requirements, we use it. So if you are looking for a better CTR, that means, of course, very reasonable or effective or better prices, and you want to drive your audience to your website. So since we have DMP, and we have historical data of a country, so we know that how we can where and which publishers, or from which sources or which audiences we can get better results. or who interacted previously. I'm talking about the historical data that that we have. So say for example, you want to get more than 0.20% CTR, and we of course have the historical data of the country, of the user. And now you are selecting different methods depending on your requirements. So the easy thing, I think, that is understandable, and which the term is very popular, the CTR. So if you are using this platform, when we are using it, so we are setting up like this, and then we are setting up some impression, Spain or something. So it depends. It depends. I'm just showing you, with random numbers. It depends. So this is a magic tool, as I said. So if you are running a traffic campaign, then you will be using this one. You will be needing this one. Or if you have a acquisition, so you can set maximum CPA you want to you want to have. So you set a maximum price rate here. And as I was saying, that for brand awareness campaign, it's very important that we measure viewability. So if we are setting up here like 50%, and if we are running our ads using this tool, so we are filtering. We know the machine learning process actually does it, and the DMP actually knows how it can and where it can have better viewability, because it depends on, again, the website as well. If they have like direct slots sold to the advertisers, there we cannot reach out. I mean, we cannot reach through RTB. So because that slot is sold directly to the publishers, and that cannot be used by any other platforms or or any other ad exchanges or something like that. So you just need to select, you just need to choose how you want to use this, and view through rate. This is very important for the video ads. So you can actually measure what % of your videos were displayed and played. So you can choose from there and add positions above the fold and below the fold. So if you are selecting only above the fold, then your ads will be shown on the of course on the top slots of the publishers. And if it's a below, then the if you are selecting the above the fold, then the price of course will go higher. And for below, then you might have cheap inventories. And if you are using above the fold, then you will have, of course, better viewability, because the impressions will be viewed or seen by the users. And the packages that we mentioned, that you can either use it as blacklist or as whitelist. So if you want to use it as whitelist, then you can use include only. So your ads will be only shown to these websites or apps. And if you exclude, then your ads won't be appearing on these websites or apps. And here you can set different modalities. If you are using this particular platform, then you can actually set how much of your budget, daily budget or total budget, you are dedicating to those particular websites. So a chunk of budget will be spent on those websites, and others on the rest. So actually it depends on that. And there are marketplaces, and there are websites or something. There are places where advertisers are not allowing ads via RTB, or we can have private marketplace or exclusive deals for your brands, for your product on particular websites or on apps. And I recommend highly that you search internet, just Google how this program marketplace works and how it is done, because again the process is complex and it takes a lot of time. But in short, this is as you see, the private marketplace it can be used for specific or some guaranteed. It can be any particular modalities that you have. You can say, for example, you want to target a particular website, and you are buying exclusive deals from them. And depending on your requirements, we can do this through discussion with the publishers. And the last thing, I think we all know that what landing page is and how it works, but it has different things. Like if you are promoting your apps or something, if you want to track your apps or anything or products, you can use this. So the users clicks on this banner and taken to the, so this I know that most of us know what landing page is, how it is done. And so click to call. I mean, click the CTA is call here. So if you're not using any URL where you are actually taking or dragging the audience to, but you are using this call, that means the user sees the banner, clicks on the banner, and the user is taken on the mobile device dial pad, where they can actually call that particular number what we are adding here. So it's like you are just random, you are giving this. So if I see this banner, I click on the banner and I'm taken to the dial pad where a number is given. So it's like if your product is giving, for example, home delivery, and you want the users to call a particular number. So you use this number here, and you have your, of course, banners. You click on the banners, then you see the number, and the user can easily dial to that call center and have the order placed. Or it can have USSD. It, if you are promoting any data pack or something like that, you can use this and that. It depends. So you are taken to the dial pad, or you just need to press the dial, and then you are on that section where you can actually activate or deactivate any services or something like that. It can have SMS. So it depends on your requirements, how you want to utilize this tool. And the last thing here is that so no result found. That means I haven't selected the right type of creative when I selected. So here all the creatives, uploaded creatives are shown. So you just select the creatives and you just save your campaigns. And you just need to approve the campaigns, and the campaigns is on. So I think Zivila, from this portion, I'm done with this. I just need 1 minute to just show this reporting.
Okay, so we have one question. Maybe we can answer it now. It's a very good one. Does a higher viewability cause increase in CPM rate?
Yes, the answer is very simple. Yes, because as I said when I was discussing this one. So for example, you are setting up a viewability of 80%. So that means you want your 80% of the impressions to be seen, to be viewed by the users. Now it means that you need to, for sure, you need to reach out. You need to have the top slot when you are on a website. I do not see any ads here, but if I could. So maybe, yeah. So the answer is, of course, because you will have the better slots in there. So for example, this is of course you are landing on this website. You're seeing these banners, or you are seeing these banners. This is a native ad. This is a native ad. It doesn't look like an ad like this one. It doesn't have any but it attracts. Okay, so yeah, so the rate will be higher, of course, because you are bidding for better ad slots, and that's why you will be of course spending more for that. So the CPM will be higher than usual. Okay, so as I was saying, that there are different parameters, there are different metrics that you have. So you can have like this one for example, as we can see, the CTR, clicks, reach, and impressions. So this particular campaign has 47,000 more than 47,000 impressions and reach. So that means it has frequency of 1 point something. That means it's a in terms of brand awareness and in terms of reaching out mass people, it's a very successful number. I mean, this number is very good numbers, because as I was saying, that if you want to reach to wider people and you have very limited number of impressions as well, this is very ideal number. And as you can see, that if you're running a video campaign, then this is something that you will be seeing. So you can measure as you see their first quartile, midpoint, third quartile, and complete, and then VTR and cost per views and everything. So you can also see who have muted and unmuted or paused or resumed or skipped. So it will depend on the of course the users. So you can see from here, if you are seeing higher view through rate, that means users are seeing your ads, and the simple impressions are converted to views. And I think reporting tool is something just shows everything that this that campaign has achieved. It shows data in terms of operating systems, then browsers, then operators, and it also shows this. This is pretty much common across all the platforms. So you can measure the percentage of inventories that you have got. So it shows that almost 53% inventory we got served this campaign on apps, and this is 47% for sites, banner, and videos. It has so many features that helps, and also shows top device brands and device price and socioeconomic class. So it can it depends on the client and what they're measuring for their campaigns. But as I said, for different modalities of campaigns, you will be needing you'll be measuring different metrics for that. So there could have been so many things that we could discuss, but we have very restricted timeline. So that is it from my side. We saw the planning, how we can be planning, and of course the campaign stage and optimization stage where the campaign manager is optimizing the campaigns, of course, depending on the KPI, depending on the target set by the clients. And now this is the reporting part, where actually you see the results of the campaigns. So whatever we have in the campaign creation, we are just displaying that on the reporting tools. And of course, it will depend on the requirements of the clients, what they want to see and all. Yeah, so thank you so much. So that is all from my side. So we can maybe now go for the questions.
Yeah. Okay, so let me share some of the questions that we have received. One of them is with the UTM trackers, and like a generic question, when customers want to use, the agencies want to use some kind of tracking tools like UTM trackers or so on, why there is a discrepancy, for example, on the clicks? How much do we measure like on one platform? How many clicks has it been measured on another platform, and so on? So probably the basic part I could be explaining. So Sid, please also add on top of that with your knowledge. But basically, different trackers, of course, they have different kind of methods, which time, how to track that, yes, for example, click happened, and then so on. So of course, depending on what you use, they have different systems and like ways how they track, in this case, click. So therefore, you literally cannot explain and compare expect the same numbers equal 1-to-1 on each platforms, because it's not been built by same person, in other words, and it doesn't mean that there's a fraud or something like that. Just because there's a different methods how to track that, so we should go deeper into those technical parts to know and compare the real results, what is beneath them.
Yeah, I just will add nothing else. I think you have already rightly said that it depends, and it depends on the on the trackers that you are using. So if you are using seismic trackers, they will be having different parameters for this. Or if you are using mode, then it will have different parameters. So sometimes when the impression, when the bid is on, some trackers are counting impressions from there, and a different tracker might show you the trackers. Show you numbers when the impression is basically displayed, or has basically appeared on the user or on the page or website or apps. So, and same is for clicks, or I just gave an example for impressions. So it actually depends on the trackers that we are using, because different companies will have different parameters for that.
Okay, so next we have another interesting question. Let me read it. If your impressions, for example, were 2,000 and the viewability impressions are 0, will the budget be exhausted? Assuming that your campaign is designed for reach.
No, actually, budget, it has to have, like, viewability has to have at least 0.01% or something like that, because if it is not shown to anyone or anywhere, this is a very rare case. You can have like 1 in a million case, or maybe 1 in a billion case, that when you will have simple 0 as viewability. No, ads are shown to the users, so you will have this. So there might be some glitches from the from the platform side. Excuse me, sorry. So it's not a regular case. What is asked here? Your viewability should be there. A minimum viewability should be there. It can be 0.01% or 0.001%. It should be there.
Take an example that there's like 0 something. So will and your campaign goal, for example, is all the impressions with like 20% visibility and so on. So if you don't have that reach, so will the budget could be exhausted?
Yes, budget will be exhausted, because you are not buying on reach. On displays, you are always buying on, of course, CPM, because you're always buying impressions. That is the primary thing that any ads or the system buys. And then comes other thing. You actually set your parameters, but yeah.
And then it depends on the knowledge and know-how, how to optimize, what kind of platform do you use, how well it is built to toward the optimization KPI that you select for that campaign, and so on. So there's not an easy answer how to reach best optimization, how to select best parameters, and so on. So it's a really long journey. Of course, not enough of the 2 hours explaining all the business and technical details today. So I encourage, of course, continue having those questions, and also search for answers. Start using, start trying, start playing yourself in this area, and you will definitely gain that experience and knowledge. Always participate in some additional webinars and courses like APDM arranges, and also just look for more information and good case studies. One of the other question that we actually have is regarding the video metrics, that what kind of video metrics can we see? And as for example, we have on the Eskimi side, add a little bit more on this question. On the Eskimi side, we have YouTube, Facebook videos as well, all those VAS and banners as well. So what kind of metrics can we see like on Eskimi and on, of course, other platforms as well?
Okay, for I think we have discussed and shown that from the live reports just when I was showing that. Yeah, so you can measure like it can have like quartiles, the first quartile. So if your campaign, say for example, if your video duration is 20 seconds and you have like quartile, first quartile, second quartile, or something like that, you can measure on that, and you can also decide if you are getting, say, most views up to if your users are viewing up to third quartile, then you can set your next video, for example, up to 15 seconds, where you will have more completed views. Campaign users will be seeing your banners. But as far as the metrics are concerned, then we should be measuring the of course the quartiles, first, midpoint, and third quartile, or the complete ones, and how many views you got out of those impressions. And of course you will have the metrics like who has muted, who has unmuted, who have skipped, which I showed. Different platform might share different metrics. Some might say a particular percentage of videos have been completed or have been played or something like that. So different platform will have different metrics, but the basic things are the quartiles and all the parameters that like who muted and who actually unmuted. But who muted and unmuted, that is not something that you'd be measuring all the time, but the basic thing is the quartiles across all the video formats or platforms that you are using. So VTR is something that is also important here.
Okay, so we have the last question to summarize all what we have actually heard today. Is there, can you share from your personal experience, of course, like a standard recommended guidelines, how to do good optimization to reach the best result? Like what would be the secret key of effective campaigns?
Okay, so
short, summarize,
short,
golden
summarize,
how to do that.
Okay, first thing is the KPI that you have received. So your client wants to have like 50% viewabilities. So for example, it's 50% viewabilities, and of course you have a fixed rate. Or yeah, so I'm just taking it as a brand awareness campaign. So I'm optimizing the campaigns, and I'm seeing that our KPI is to have 50% viewability, but I'm not getting that. So I will now get into the optimization. I will check if if I'm spending more on the websites or more on the banners where I'm having less number of less viewability. So for example, if you're using a 320 and 250 or 50, the dimension is 320 to 250. This is actually a sticky banner. So when we use a mobile phone and when we scroll up and down, this is the thing that we see. If I'm using an app or a website, I'm on a website. So that is something that is mostly viewed. So I will go and check how much I'm spending on that particular banners. So I will bid high for that, so that I win more bids and I show more ads, more impressions. I serve more impressions for that particular thing. Or I can check the publishers where I'm getting lower viewability. So where I'm having lower viewability, I will be of course pausing that or removing that from the targeting, and I won't be serving my ads to those. And on top of it, as I said, I would be of course focusing on above the fold placements, where my possibility of winning bids is of course less, but I'll be bidding very high on there. So it actually depends on your requirements, but for me, I would consider primarily this one.
Okay.
These three.
And I will add maybe more from the client server perspective that every time when their campaigns are running, there are multiple goals of the campaign, like KPIs that have been shared from the client. But each successful campaign, you have to focus on one KPI, which would be the primary one, then maximum second one, because like you, if your client requires you maximum reach, lower price, higher viewability, and so on and so on. So it's like asking, give me a Ferrari with a bicycle price. So we know how it ends up in those kind of situations. So always be wise in planning, and also consider the required conditions, and because you know how it ends up in the final results. Okay, so as we see now more questions, Sid, if you would like to add something, we don't see you anymore actually. Melinda, would you like and Amita to take it forward to close this webinar?
Yes, thank you very much, Shivile, and thank you very much, Sid, for today's session. I hope there are no more questions. So just a quick reminder about our upcoming webinars. In next few weeks, we are going to actually schedule a few more webinars and influencer marketing. We've done a webinar already, and there were a few requests to do another session a little deeper. So we are in discussion with few resource persons to conduct another deeper level webinar on the topic of influencer marketing, and of course, an upcoming topic, viewability and brand safety, which is in a way related to the topic we discussed today, programmatic advertising. For that also, we are in the process of partnering with some resource persons to bring you a free webinar on that topic. So stay tuned with us on our Facebook page, on our LinkedIn page, to get to know about the upcoming free webinar sessions. And not only that, we are having a professional diploma and digital marketing, the 100% online course this time, starting on 30th May. So if you are interested in joining in, make an inquiry to info@apidm.lk. All right, so those are the messages from our end. And once again, a very big thank you to Shivile, Siddharth, and Melinda, our representatives from Eskimi here today. And for last 2 days, yesterday and today, it was really informative and really an in-depth session on the topic of programmatic advertising. And I believe like 90 odd participants who were with us right throughout the program yesterday and today, they've gained quite a lot of understanding, in-depth understanding, and it was quite interactive as well. Thank you very much, all our participants, for being interactive, asking questions all the time, and that really kept the level of engagement of the session at a very high level. All right, with that, we are closing the webinar today, and once again, thank you very much for joining in. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thank you, and thanks Amita for the opportunity as well. Yeah, thank you. Bye.
All right, bye-bye.